Good morning, students. Welcome to the class of Social and Political Life, Chapter 1 in the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is the backbone of our country. Let us see this picture. Left side we can see that some are playing football and on the right side some are playing volleyball. Every game is having its rule. To win the game, we need to play with the rules. During the game, rule breakers get penalty, whether it is in game or in our life. Certain rules are there. As part of the society, we are liable to obey these rules. Like the games, society also has constitutive rules that makes it what it is and differentiate it from other kinds of societies. A written document in which we find such rule is Constitution. A written document in which we find such rules, that is called a constitution. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. In the previous classes, 6th and 7th, we learned or studied about the political and social life and the constitution. Have you ever wondered why we need constitution? Or who wrote it and how it was constituted? In this chapter, we will discuss these issues as well as we will see the key features of the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution was made by the people of India and also it was made for the people of India. But why do we need it? The Constitution is required to have authoritative allocation of power and function and also to restrict them within its limit. If there is no written rule, everyone will become their own rulers or they try to impose different rules according to the situation, according to the person. Here a written rule defines what should be done, how to be done, and who is authorized. Our country is diverse in language, religion, culture, etc. Constitution serves as a set of rules and principles that all persons in the country agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. Here, in this regard, I like to share the role of Constituent Assembly. In 1934, the Indian National Congress made the demand for a Constituent Assembly. And between December 1946 and November 1949, the Constituent Assembly drafted a constitution for independent India. Who wrote this constitution? The people of India. We have our leaders like Dr. Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, as a leading characters while drafting the constitution. Constitution of India 1950. The constitution was enacted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949 and came into effect on 26 January 1950. The date 26 January chosen to commemorate the Purna Swaraj Declaration of Independence of 1930. With its adoption, the Union of India officially became the modern and contemporary Republic of India, and it replaced the Government of India Act 1935 as the country's fundamental governing document. The constitution serves different purpose. First, it lays out ideals that form the basic of the kind of country we have. And the constitution tells us what the fundamental nature of our society. Usually, a country is made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not necessarily agree on all issues. Here, constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in the country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. In democratic societies, the constitution often lays down rules that guard against the misuse of authority by our political leaders. In the case of Indian constitution, about which we'll be learning later, many of these laws are contained in the section on fundamental right. Another reason why we need a constitution is to save us from ourselves. This may sound something strange, why we have to be afraid of ourselves. But what is meant by this is that we might at times feel strongly about an issue that might go against our larger interests. And the constitution helps us guard against this. Now let us see the key features of our constitution. While drafting the constitution, much care was taken by our leaders to see all aspects of each and every person of the country. Key features are federalism, parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, fundamental rights, and secularism. Now let us see one by one. Federalism refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have governments at the state level as well as at the center. And Panchayati Raj is a third tier of government about which we have learnt in class 6. Next, the parliamentary form of government. The people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. Every citizen of India, irrespective of social background, can also contest in election. And not only these representatives are accountable to the people. Separation of powers. There are three organs of the government. These are legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. And the judiciary refers to the system of court in this country. Fundamental rights. Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies. Fundamental rights are the soul of our constitution. The right to equality. All persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the law of the country, and also states that no citizen can be discriminated against on the basis of religion, caste, sex, or any other criteria. The right to freedom. This includes the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to form associations, the right to move freely and reside in any part of the country, and the right to practice any profession, occupation, or business. Right against exploitation. The Constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor, and employment of children under 14 years of age. Right to freedom of religion. Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has a right to practice or profess and propagate the religion of their choice. Cultural and educational rights. The Constitution states that all the minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. And the right to constitutional remedies. This allows citizens to move to the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. In addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has section called Directive Principles of State Policy, and this section was designed by the members of the Constituent Assembly to ensure greater social and economic reforms and to serve as a guide to independent Indian state to institute laws and policies to help reduce the poverty of the people. Secularism. A secular state is one which the state does not officially promote any one religion as a state religion. Country's history often determines the kind of constitution that a country adopts for itself. In the constitution plays a crucial role in laying out the ideals that we would like all the citizens of the country to follow. Though many of these features which we had seen now, there seems to be little complicated ideas that right now you may not be grasping. Don't worry too much about for that. In the coming chapters, we will learn much more. Stay safe, stay united. Thank you for watching. All of you are requested to read the lesson.